Hey, it's Concrete. Today we're going to talk about Vape Train custards. So y'all wanted to see banana custard and creamy custard on the viewer's choice thing. Figured I'd throw in some warm custard because I was honestly curious. Before we begin, I did want to clarify that I may not be a custard expert. So I know there are a whole bunch of very passionate people out there who want to vape custard, and it's all variations on a custard. I don't really use custard like that. I use custard a lot like I use tobaccos, in that it's generally a component in one of my mixes. It's not really the end goal is to create a great custard. Once again, these concentrates were provided to me by Vape Train. I did not pay for these, so shout out to Vape Train. First, I'm going to start out with Vape Train's Banana Custard. This is pretty good. I'm going to be splitting some hairs throughout this entire description, but when I hear banana custard, my best case scenario is here are bananas with custard. And I'm not sure if this really does that. I think at lower percentages, it reminds me more of a banana that could be used in a custard, or at higher percentages, maybe like a banana pudding kind of flavor. And we're talking American pudding here, not like bread pudding. It does definitely lead with the banana here though. I feel like the banana is probably a much more prominent part of this than the actual custard. So I've heard this called a very realistic banana. I think it's fairly realistic. Yeah. I mean, I think there's a little bit of a sort of brighter candied note that doesn't really belong in like a truly realistic banana, but overall it's fairly smooth and creamy. The flavor is pretty mild, and I think that little tiny bit of like runty banana actually kind of helps sell the profile. I think overall it's definitely on the realistic end. It's nowhere in the same spectrum as like the straight fake banana like Lorraine's banana cream. I will say it's probably not as realistic to me as the banana in TPA's banana nut bread. It's also a little bit bright for using like as a bakery kind of banana, but I mean overall I'm just splitting hairs. Basically this banana is really good. While the banana here is pretty like big and bright, I don't necessarily get all that much of the custard part of this. I think when I hear custard, mostly what I'm thinking about is like a custard with eggs, like those deeper kind of richer eggy notes. I don't really get that here. What I do get, there's definitely like some creaminess, but it feels like more of an American style pudding. It doesn't have that like heavy egg hit to it. It's done fairly well. You know, it does have some actually creaminess and some body to it, but it does feel like it's kind of playing back up to that banana flavor. Flavor association, I guess. But overall, this really reminds me of like a Jell-O banana pudding kind of mix, just because it doesn't have like those really deep, rich notes to it. I feel like you can use the banana out of this for just a banana flavor and kind of gloss over like the lighter creamy accents. I'd probably be around 3 or 4% with that. You could use this as more of a banana flavored pudding because at higher percentages, those creamier notes do come out a little bit more, and you definitely get like that banana pudding kind of effect. I think it'd be good in like banana cream pies and stuff like that. But I'd probably be like closer to like 6-8% on that top end. But overall, I mean, I think this is a really well executed banana flavor for custards. I'm not sure if I'd call it a banana custard, but really solid overall. Next, I have Vape Train's Creamy Custard. If Vape Train's banana custard is like vaping a banana pudding, this is kind of like vaping the actual banana pudding mix, like dry. It's a profoundly strange flavor. I do feel like I get some kind of like custard components here. There's a little bit of creaminess to it. I don't really get like a rich egginess. It doesn't really feel all that rich, but you can tell that there was some sort of attempt at maybe like a dairy flavor or something going on here. One of the big issues with this, I get an artificial banana flavor, like a very tart artificial banana flavor. And it's kind of weird because I don't think there should be any banana in here. That wasn't in the description. It's less nuanced than the banana from Vape Train's Banana Custard. It's just kind of the bright obnoxious part. It tastes super runty to me. It makes the inhale like super tart, which isn't something I'm necessarily looking for in a custard. And then that banana flavor is just all over the exhale. And so I'm not sure what's going on there. I think the other thing that really gets me, the texture on this isn't very good. So custards are usually like a good textural thing. Like that's one of the reasons that you'll use a custard, because it's nice and thick. This is kind of dry and chalky and powdery. Like I said, it's like an instant pudding mix without actually adding anything to it. It's a little weird. The other thing that I'm getting from it there seems to be like a odd, like numbing effect going on when I vape a lot of it, which is strange. It's a little topical, you know, it just makes my lips a little numb. So I'm not sure what's happening there, but between that banana note and that weird, like numbing chalky texture, I don't know. I don't think this one's for me. Like, I think that banana custard's really good and it does something like this, but a whole lot better. So probably just pick up that one instead. I will say, I don't think my problem with this is different percentages. I think I tested this at 2 and 6% and gave it a little over 3 weeks. And yeah, both of them just aren't really working for me. I think if you are hell-bent on using this flavor, I'd probably shoot for about 4%. It's a little less dry than like 6% there, but overall, probably just get the banana custard. Last for today, I have Vape Train's Warm Custard. Warm. This strikes me as Vape Train's fairly run-of-the-mill vanilla custard flavor. Every line has to have one. I'm guessing this is Vape Train's. It's good. It has a very like rich egginess to it, which I think, like I said, is like one of my defining custard things. I think this does the egginess thing fairly well. There is a little bit of like a creamy component too. It feels just slightly butyric, not like gross butyric, not like unsteeped flavor art yogurt butyric, but there's just like this little mild hint of sourness to it that makes me think of more of like a milk flavor than a full-on like sweet cream. But I think overall it's actually fairly well done. I'm getting a very clear custard effect. In the description for this one, Vape Train actually says there is no vanilla in this flavor. That is a lie. There is definitely some kind of vanilla in here. I wouldn't say like the vanilla here is as aggressive as the vanilla in Cap's vanilla custard, but there's something that feels a whole lot like a vanilla. It's actually a little bit darker, a little bit spicier, a little richer. It isn't just that like bright one-note vanillin flavor. It doesn't taste like frosting. It actually feels kind of like a vanilla bean flavor that you'd actually find in a custard. So it's definitely promising. It's a good vanilla flavor, and then with all of that sort of eggy flavor behind it, it starts to taste a whole lot like a French vanilla, which is actually pretty cool. I kept going back and forth about whether or not I get a spice note out of this. I don't really taste like a distinct spice note beyond the vanilla, but it does have like a little bit of a spicy mouthfeel. Like there's something a little bit spicy, like right on the tail end of the vape. It feels like there should be some sort of spice note there. I don't think it's like overwhelming or anything or pulls the entire thing off a custard profile, but it might be something to watch out for. While I really like the taste of this, I like the egginess there. I like the vanilla that they used. I think the balance with that, and then even like a little bit of that like milky, like dairy note, like it's all very, very good. The one thing it doesn't do quite as well as some of the other custards for me is texture. I feel like this isn't thin by any stretch of the imagination, but it also isn't like thick and decadent and all those things that you actually want from a custard vape. It's not nearly as thick as like Cap's Vanilla Custard V1 or even like V2 if you give it a steep. It's a little bit airier, which means that I probably wouldn't use this as my first choice for like a custard base. I think if you did want to use this as a custard base, it's totally doable. I just feel like there's like thicker options out there. I'd probably be around 8% with this as an actual custard base. What I would use this for, though, is a really good French vanilla flavor. I feel like as a French vanilla flavor, this probably has more nuance than something like Capella's French vanilla, which is another one that I use on a regular basis. I do like the egginess here. I like how dark the vanilla is. I like the balance. So I'd probably be using it in an accent roll around like 3 or 4% for like a really good, rich French vanilla accent. So overall, this one's pretty good. So that was just a quick video on some flavor notes on custards from somebody who probably shouldn't be giving you flavor notes on custards. You're welcome. Next video is going to be more Vape Train Viewer's Choice. We're going to do some creamier flavors. If you wanted to check out the more detailed flavor notes and follow everything else that I get up to, you can go to my super professional website, tasteofconcrete.com. Check that out. That'd be great. But I did want to say thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I will catch you later.